Alrighty, I'm gonna be talking about my Game of the Year predictions before the live stream gets started. So let's just hop right into it. Just a couple things. These are my personal choices, my list, not necessarily what I think Jeff is gonna pick / the board is gonna pick. Although I do have a slide specifically for Game of the Year where I'm gonna predict what I think they'll have. I'm not really gonna talk about the categories that I didn't interact with much this year, just because I didn't play, so I can't speak on them. And most of all, I just want to have fun. You know me. You know the Moebox style. We're all about having fun here. Alright. So best score / music. I've got Astrobot, Persona 3 Reload, and Echoes of Wisdom. I think those three speak for themselves. Specifically, Astrobot and Persona 3 speak for themselves, just how good the music is. And Echoes of Wisdom, I found myself just putting down the Switch and listening to the music for like close to 30 minutes at times. It's just that good to me. Best art direction, I'm going Black Myth Wukong, Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, and Plucky Squire. Because all three are super unique for different reasons. Like Black Myth Wukong just looks gorgeous. It looks stunning. And I'm excited to see how well they're able to keep it looking when they do the Xbox port. Banana Rumble has the best level design and art of any Monkey Ball game since the GameCube, in my opinion. Like, it is just top tier. The Plucky Squire, while it did let down gameplay and narrative-wise for me, it's still a gorgeous looking game. And I love that flip just between 2D and 3D, as well as the whole storybook aesthetic. That really spoke to me on a deep level. Best narrative, I'm going Unicorn Overlord, Imio, and Nobody Wants to Die. Nobody Wants to Die, I haven't really seen many people talking about, so I'll give a little explanation for that one. Imagine a visual novel / walking sim type game, almost like Firewatch, mixed with the cyberpunk / Bioshock neo-futuristic aesthetic and sort of darker storyline. It's really interesting and definitely worth at least watching a playthrough if you're at all interested in that type of game. Best mobile game, I'm going Pokemon TCG Pocket, Balatro, and Age of Empires Mobile. I was definitely the Pokemon card kid at my school growing up. Like, I was the one who would show up to after school care with well over 1,000 cards, and we would all just do Pokemon battles. And even some weeks we would do tournaments because I brought enough for everybody to have a deck. But Balatro, if you've talked to me at all this year, you know about my obsession with Balatro. It is just such a good game, and I'm so happy that I have this everywhere now. I've got it on my Switch, I've got it on my phone, and I do have a Steam key for it. I just don't play on PC anymore. And Age of Empires Mobile, I'm shocked that this didn't happen sooner, because that seems like a perfect fit for mobile, just that RTS style gameplay. It's very easy to pick up and put down. So I'm shocked that it didn't happen sooner, and I'm really happy with how this version turned out. Best indie game. This one was an incredibly hard one because we had so many amazing indies this year. But I went with Another Crab's Treasure, Balatro, and Thank Goodness You're Here. I've never been a big fan of the Souls-like games, because I'm not really that must grind, find hard game type player. I like to just relax and enjoy my experiences. I game to calm myself down, not to stress myself out. And I totally respect, a lot of people do get enjoyment from the higher difficulty of some games. But Another Crab's Treasure was so intriguing, both on an art level, a music level, a narrative level, and just a concept level, that I didn't mind the constant dying and going back through progress to keep going through the story, because it was just that good of a game. Balatro, once again, speaks for itself. I'm addicted. Thank Goodness You're Here was such a quirky little title that I did not see coming this year. But if you're into like that posh British humor, definitely give it a shot. Think if the Plucky Squire were made as an adult film game almost, except there is no 3D world jumping, it's just all 2D narrative structure. Definitely interesting. Best multiplayer. I'm going Helldivers 2, Star Wars Hunters, and Palworld. Now, there's a bit of an asterisk for my entire slideshow. I know that they recently announced that they are allowing DLC and remaster/remakes, but I'm not 100% certain where they stand on early access. So for my choices, I'm saying yes, early access is allowed. These 3 games really just were the only ones that captured me multiplayer-wise. I'm not a big multiplayer person in general. I much prefer single-player games. But these 3, I had a good bit of fun with jumping in with friends and just grinding out stuff. Star Wars Hunters specifically, I did not expect to be as good as it was. Because I was expecting just another mobile gacha game that I was going to be able to play for 10 minutes and then have to pay $100 a day to keep going. But there are enough challenges, and the game is set up in such a way that just by leveling naturally, you really don't have to use the gacha mechanics. And it works surprisingly well on the Switch, too. Best family game. I'm going Mario Party Jamboree, Astrobot, and the Patrick Star game. I think Mario Party and Astrobot speak for themselves, but the Patrick Star game was such an out-of-left-field announcement back at the Nintendo Direct in June that I was immediately like, okay, I'm gonna follow this. And then it came out, and it's essentially Patrick in Goat Simulator. And it's just such a fun time. It's definitely not a game you're going to play for the story whatsoever. It's a game you're going to play just to hop in, have some fun, see what all you can do in Bikini Bottom, and just laugh for a bit. And I think we all need that sometimes. Best simulation game. Age of Mythology Retold, Planet Coaster 2, and Botany Manor. Age of Mythology Retold. I've never been a massive fan of the Age of Empire games. I know, horrible me. Or really like the Civilization Sid Meier games either, but this one really caught my attention and my interest because of the inclusion of the different pantheons. It just works so well, building this entire world from scratch essentially, and getting to place these different pantheons among different cultures that normally would not be the case. Planet Coaster 2, we all have memories of making insane roller coasters in the original Roller Coaster Tycoon just to see how much chaos we could cause. And this brings that back, but adds in some really good-looking art too. So definitely was a up there simulation game for me. And Botany Manor was super interesting because it felt like a combination of that strategy-style simulation gameplay that you get from like Civ or things like that, but it melds it with cozy gaming aesthetic of like Stardew Valley or Unpacking, which was perfect for me. Best fighting game. Now, I don't do much when it comes to fighting games. They're not my biggest cup of tea, but Tekken 8, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. All 3 of these definitely had their peak "this is awesome" moment in the community this year. But specifically, I'm rooting for Marvel vs. Capcom. Specifically because of how much I care about preservation of gaming in general, and the fact that we're getting Marvel vs. Capcom 2 back after being delisted for so long, and we have it in a physical format as well, is so important to me. And I would love to see that win solely for the precedent that it would set of this is what gamers want, you know? Best action game. Once again, early access thing, but Hades 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Unleashed, and Sonic X Shadow Generations. Of all the TMNT games that have released recently, I thought that I was going to be most excited / enjoy Splintered Fate the most because of that roguelike nature, and I've been on a bit of a roguelike kick this year. But Mutants Unleashed really did it for me, so I went with that one. Sonic X Shadow Generations was so good. So good. Sega as a whole has just been doing phenomenal this year. So I'm very, very happy with pretty much everything they've released, and I hope that they continue to keep up this pace and this ramp and this quality. So fingers crossed. Hades 2, yes, it is a really good game in and of itself, but it's also partly because of how much love there is for Hades, period. So I definitely see this one getting nominated / I hope it does get the recognition it deserves. Best Action Adventure. I went Echoes of Wisdom, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and Astrobot. It pains my heart that Ubisoft sees The Lost Crown as a failure, because this was such a unique and interesting take on the Prince of Persia games. Like, I remember playing Warrior Within and Two Princes back on the GameCube, and this one brought me back into the franchise, but for completely different reasons. That 2D Metroidvania style gameplay really works for Prince of Persia. And I would love to see this game either get some DLC or even get a follow-up maybe, but I highly doubt it's going to happen. Echoes of Wisdom is definitely one of my favorite games I've played this year. It's just such a unique take on the Zelda formula, and I really think that they did a good job melding 2D and 3D Zelda into a truly unique and special thing. And having Zelda as the main character this time around was just the cherry on top for me. Best RPG. This was another really hard one to do, because we had so many good RPGs this year. Like, this truly was the year of Sega and the year of RPGs, in my opinion. But I went with Unicorn Overlord, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Persona 3 Reload. Because those three are the ones that I actually felt, this looks good enough for me to actually sink RPG time into. Because we all know how it goes. RPGs take a stupid amount of time. Sorry. Because we all know how it goes. RPGs take a stupid amount of time. But Unicorn Overlord specifically is my number one this year. I love the Fire Emblem games. And I really haven't had one hit me the same way since the 3DS. Because I'll be honest, Three Houses just didn't do it for me. But this feels like my redemption arc in that sense, and I love Unicorn Overlord so much. Most anticipated. Now, I realized after making this slideshow that I did it backwards. I did the games I was most anticipated for going into this year, which were Plucky Squire, Ace Attorney Investigations, and Shattered Space. But I want to add a little for y'all and talk about what I'm anticipating going forward into 2025. For me, if I had to pick three, it would be Metroid Prime 4, the Xenoblade X Definitive Edition, and GTA 6. Those are the three that I'm really holding out a lot of hope for next year. Oh, and if I could add to the list Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Avowed, those also look right up my alley. I've finally gotten about halfway through the first Kingdom Come game, and I knew I was going to like it because of how much my favorite creators themselves like it, but I didn't expect to like it this much. If you haven't played the first Kingdom Come game, it's definitely worth hopping into, and right now is the perfect time since the sequel comes out in February, so get on that. Now, my choices for Game of the Year. I went with Balatro, Another Crab's Treasure, and Imio the Smiling Man. Now, if you have not played Imio the Smiling Man, and you are even remotely a fan of visual novel games, you need to play Imio the Smiling Man. And I know that John Cartwright from you need to play Imio the Smiling Man. And I know that John Cartwright from Good Vibes Gaming fully agrees with me, because he's also been on Twitter talking nothing but praise about this game. It is such a good one. Such an amazing, rich, deep story that's gonna hurt when you get to the end of Chapter 12. But that's all I'm gonna say, because you need to experience this masterpiece of a game. And I hope that we get more Famicom detective games going forward. Another Crab's Treasure and Balatro, I've already talked about them a good bit in this slideshow. You know how I feel. And now, here is what I think the board is gonna put up for Game of the Year. I'm thinking we're gonna see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Shadow of the Erdtree, Dragon's Dogma 2, Metaphor ReFantazio, Black Myth Wukong, and Astrobot. Because those are the six that I've seen not only have the biggest level of talk, but the longest level of talk, mixed with the best reviews from both critics and fans. These are just the six that have really been held up throughout the year. Dragon's Dogma 2 definitely had its moment of, is this as good as we think it is, from a lot of people? But it's held up. And all the complaints that were really vocalized were very minute things. So yeah. Got a minute and 40 seconds until this finally starts. Nasabui, I hope you enjoyed that little slideshow I put together last night. I literally just spent like an hour putting together random crap. I say random, but I genuinely have enjoyed a lot of the games I played this year. I cannot be mad whatsoever. "30 seconds.
Celebrate video games, the biggest, most powerful form of entertainment in the world. And on Thursday, December 12th, right here at Peacock Theater in Los Angeles, we will recognize the best and show you what's next with the 10th anniversary of the Game Awards. Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Keighley. Welcome to the TGA Global Nomination Announcement Special. Today, it is my distinct honor to reveal this year's nominees, recognizing talented game developers from studios big and small around the world. You can help select the winners by voting right now at thegameawards.com. All right, you've waited long enough, so let's do it. Here are the nominees.
Yeah, Jeff, tell us what we're getting.
2024. For Best Ongoing Game, the nominees are Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. Your Best Performance nominees are Brianna White for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, for Life is Strange.
That's a good choice.
Umberly Gonzalez for Star Wars Outlaws.
Another good one.
Roberts, Silent Hill 2. And Lena Jurgens, Senua Saga, Hellblade 2. For the Best Mobile Game, the nominees are AFK Journey, Balatro,
Yeah.
Pokemon Trading
Yeah.
Pocket, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. The nominees
Andrew
for
loves
Best
Zenless Zone
Art
Zero.
Direction are Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong,
Yep.
Elden Ring Shadow of the Earth Tree, Metaphor Refantazio, and Neva.
Ooh, Morgow's gonna be happy about Neva.
Are Astrobot, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Metaphor Refantazio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. In the category of Best Audio Design, these games are nominated. Astrobot, Call of Duty.
How many times is Jeff Keighley gonna say Astrobot in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth today?
Saga, Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. Best Adaptation recognizes excellence in authentically creating shows, movies, and other creative endeavors based on video game worlds. Here are this year's nominees for Best Adaptation. Arcane, Fallout,
Ooh.
Knuckles, Like a Dragon Yakuza, and Tomb Raider, The Legend
Fallout is definitely gonna win that one though.
Nominees are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
Okay.
Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Metaphor Refantasia, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
Games for Impact celebrates thought-provoking games with a profound pro-social meaning or message. Here are this year's nominees. Closer the Distance, Indica, Neva, Life is Strange Double Exposure,
Nice.
Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Tales of Kenzera, Zab.
Nice.
Nominees for Best Community Support are Baldur's Gate 3, Final
Yep.
Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2,
Oh, yeah.
and No Man's Sky.
I had a feeling Helldivers would get in that one because of all that happened with the PS login stuff.
Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Okay, that's a nice
Tekken
shot.
8, and Warhammer 40,000, Space Marine 2. Best Independent Game celebrates games with a high degree of risk tolerance as they are produced outside of the traditional publisher system. The nominees are Animal Web,
Yep.
Elatro,
Yep.
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes,
Ooh.
Neva,
Yep.
UFO 50.
Nice.
Next is Best Debut Indie Game, which recognizes a development team that hasn't won a Game Award before. In fact, these teams published their first game in 2024. The nominees are Animal Well, Elatro,
Yeah.
Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and The Plucky Squire. For Best VR AR Game, the nominees are Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow,
Oh, hands down
Metal
Arkham Shadow.
Hellsinger VR, and Metro Awakening.
Yeah, hands down Arkham
Content
Shadow.
Creator of the Year, the nominees are Queso, Ilwan, Techno Gamers, Typical Gamer, and Usada Pecora. Part of the Game Awards is looking forward to what's next, and yes, we'll have lots of games to announce on December 12th. But what's the most anticipated upcoming game? Here are the nominees based on currently announced titles. Death Stranding 2,
Oh, I definitely did that one backwards.
Ghost of Yotei, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds. The Best Action Adventure nominees are Astrobot, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah.
For Best Role-Playing, the jury selected Dragon's Dogma 2,
Okay.
Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree,
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
Okay.
Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor Refantasia.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Best Fighting, the nominees are Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, Multiversus, and Tekken 8. The nominees for Best Action are Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2.
Okay.
Innovation in accessibility celebrates games that are making our industry available and enjoyable to more people. Selected by a special committee of accessibility experts, the nominees for innovation in accessibility are Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age The Veilguard, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws. Next up, Best Family Game. The nominees are Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime,
Okay.
Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire. The Best Sim Strategy nominees are Age of Mythology Retold, Frostpunk 2, Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, Manor Lords, and Unicorn Overlord. This year, these titles are nominated for Best Sports Racing, F1 24, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K25, Top Spin 2K25, and WWE 2K25.
I'm shocked that College Football 25 didn't make it into that one because everyone was making such a big deal about that being the return of NCAA.
Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, Valorant. The nominees for Best Esports Athlete are 3-3, Alexi B, Juvie, Faker, Zywood, and Kong Kong. And for the Best Esports Team, our Special Esports Committee nominated these teams: Billy Gaming, League of Legends; Gen G, League of Legends; Navi, Counter-Strike; T1, League of Legends; and Team Liquid, Dota 2. Alright, it's time for our final two categories. For Best Game Direction, which recognizes outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design, the nominees are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Refantasia. And finally, our global TGA jury, which I am not a member, has selected the following 6 games.
You have to clarify that he's not a member.
At the Game Awards 2024. The Game of the Year nominees are Astrobot from Team Asobi, Balatro from Local Thumb, Black Myth Wukong by Game Science, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree by From Software, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth from Square Enix, and Metaphor Refantasia from Studio Zero. So there you have it. Those are your nominees for Game of the Year. And yes, that means you'll hear the Game Awards Orchestra conducted by Lauren Bell play their themes live on this very stage on December 12th. But before then, you should
I'm
visit GameAwards.com.
pleasantly surprised with a lot of those picks. Specifically, I'm pleasantly surprised with how many times Balatro was nominated.
Where fans 100% select the winner from 30 nominees. We'll announce those nominees on Monday, December 2nd. The winners in all categories will be revealed live during the Game Awards when it streams globally on Thursday, December 12th, starting with the opening act at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 12:30 GMT at thegameawards.com. Our team cannot wait to share our 10th anniversary show with you. I hope to see you then. And don't forget, cast your votes.
Okay, so that definitely happened. And this year really was nothing but Sega cooking. And I cannot complain whatsoever. Ooh. But like I said, I'm genuinely surprised as to everything that got nominated. And now we all gotta go vote. And I'm still obsessed with the fact that we finally got a Yakuza game on the Switch. Which I still need to go back and play Kiwami. But the fact that we have it now is a big deal. And I hope that it sets a precedent for more Yakuza games coming to the next Switch. Because I think that'll be a big, big thing. Hold up, you need to see this. Was trying to go to the Game Awards website. Guess we're not voting right now. And that was the vibe. Bowie, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna collect my thoughts and work on my next essay for English class. Because, I'll talk to you later, man. Bye.